Hello people and welcome to the bathtub portion of the Evan Dub production studio. I am Yandy Shaw. I am the lead singer of Crazy Loser in a Box, and I am far too lazy to go into the actual studio and plug in the laptop and the webcam and do all that. So I'm just going to record it like this. Besides, I don't think it really matters all that much where I'm recording from. I mean, as long as I don't drop my phone or anything, because that would be kind of tragic. Anyway, I've been mulling this over for about a week, and I've come to the conclusion that I am shook by it. My former roommate from trade school tried to pay me to falsify evidence against a former friend of hers. And that's weird in and of itself, but the way that she approached me about it was also very strange, and that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about. So, in trade school, I had a reputation for being bitchy and standoffish, and, yeah. Even though we were roommates, we didn't really know each other all that well, and we haven't spoken in 6 years, so it was kind of strange to me when I got a message request from her on Facebook. No, we're not even Facebook friends, right? I got a message request from her on Facebook saying she would pay me $80 to tell a little lie, okay? And this was intriguing. I thought, oh, hey, $80, And then I asked her more, and she hedged about it. She really didn't want to explain or discuss it over text message, or, over, written communication. So she wanted me to call her, so I did. The next day. Although, leading up to that, I had said, okay, you know what, I'll call you tomorrow. She's like, okay, let me know when you wake up. Are you awake? And then, later, are you awake? And then later, girl, you ready to make some money? And I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, it had really a hun body kind of vibe. And I explained to her that technically I'm awake every few hours owing to the need to feed the baby, right? And I said, I will let you know when I'm ready to talk, okay? And she says, okay. And then she messaged me again later, a little later, asking if I'm awake yet and if I'm ready to talk. And she just was so pushy and so aggressive about it. Anyway, so when I actually called her, okay, she said that there was this girl who was harassing her, and but she couldn't get enough evidence to prosecute her, and she'd been to court a couple of times, and she'd failed to get a restraining order because there wasn't enough evidence, and her uncle, who's a police officer, told her to pay a friend to call in pretending to be this person and confessing to this harassment and these other crimes. Like, one was even like assault with a deadly weapon, right? And that was so bizarre to me. Like, I know that the police system isn't the best, and this video is coming like on the heels of or during the BLM movement, right? So, the hashtag ACAB is a thing. And, but this is just kind of a whole other level. Like, however much the career of police person may attract people who, like you to know that they're powerful and such, I've never really heard of a police officer telling somebody to pay their friends to falsify evidence. Moreover, we aren't really friends. Like I said, we were put in a room together in trade school, but we never really talked. We never really communicated at all, aside from, me getting mad at my roommates for being loud. And then that was kind of its own thing. But we were never really friends. Like, we were Facebook friends briefly, and then she unfriended me for whatever reason back in the day. So I just thought it was strange that she wasn't asking one of her actual friends, although she did address that without me asking about it. She said, oh, well, she knows all of my actual friends. She also claimed that she had an upcoming court date the very next day, and that she needed this done, like, within the day, which is kind of weird. Like, even if this was a Hail Mary pass, why go to me? I'm not particularly famous, but I am a singer. I am, under another name, a voice actress. My voice is known. And I even tried to ask her what kind of, like, accent does she have? What kind of voice should I use? She's like, oh, just use your own voice. Hell no. I said I was going to do it at first, and then I just ghosted her, which, okay, that's on me. That wasn't the best response, possibly. However, it just seemed all kinds of shady and weird. During this call, this person also was doing, like, everything she could to seem as helpless as possible. Like, the harassment claims was, this person that she wanted me to pose as was calling welfare checks on her, knew her home address and everything, but, and was getting her friends to do, welfare checks. We asked, did you tell the police that such and such a person has a history of calling in false reports for attention? Because that has happened to me before. One of my exes did that to me. And the police will not take you as seriously if you inform them, or if someone informs them that you have a history of calling in fake welfare checks or filing false reports, which is also a crime. Anyway, she was saying, oh, she had her friends do it, and meanwhile, claimed that this woman knows where she lives, knows her address, but she does not know this woman's address. Like, she knew where she lived before, but, she doesn't live there anymore, which is bizarre. Like, it's trendy to call everything victim blaming, but at a certain point I do have to wonder, why would you still be there if this person is harassing you and, the assault with a deadly weapon thing, tried to stab her? Yeah. Stabbed her and stabbed a friend of hers. Like, this is so bizarre. I can't even remember all of it in one take, And apparently, even though she and her friend went to the ER, and somehow there wasn't evidence, somehow they didn't try to find out, who stabbed these two women. Like, stabbing just happened, I guess. No, a few years ago, I was actually in trouble for assault with a deadly weapon. It was brandishing a knife, and it was a misunderstanding. I actually wasn't aware that it was illegal, but I went outside and, waved a kitchen knife around to get some people to leave my part of the complex alone, leave my cats alone, right? And then a year later, the DA prosecuted me for that. And, then I had to go through mental health court, and that was great fun. It lasted for 2 years. Anyway, that shit's kind of taken seriously. So she's claiming that this woman has been continuously harassing her by proxy, tried to stab her, and yet there's not enough evidence to get a restraining order against her. Like, the system's broken. I'm not sure if the system's quite that broken, or if she just somehow wanted to try to get me in trouble for falsifying evidence, because falsifying evidence is a crime. And, I do not think I'd be a great parent from jail. Can't afford to pay the fine right now. Album sales are not fantastic, which, that's on me. My music is pretty mediocre, but whatever. and, she claimed that her own child was staying with her parents for safety purposes. Well, okay, why aren't you staying somewhere else for safety purposes? Is kind of what I'm wondering. Like, oh yeah, don't blame the victim. Don't, God forbid anybody have common sense and ask these questions, because then you're just, you're shifting the blame or whatever. Like, no, like, obviously, stabbing people is bad. However, if someone knows where I live and is stalking me and putting my child at risk, let alone me, I meant that in reverse. Putting me at risk, let alone my child, my family, I'm not going to stay there. Like, there are other options. They may be distasteful options, like, going into a women's shelter or something like that, but their options are, staying with a family member, staying with a friend out of town. They do exist for, most people. Also, again, the fact that she wanted me to do this, she approached me allegedly the day before her court hearing. That's, like, super fishy. Am I wrong about that? I'm also, I also do the Controversial Thought series, and I think part of this is crossing over into that with my stance on certain things. However, yeah. So, I was actually kind of tempted to see what city she was in and call her local police and say, hey, this person's trying to get me to falsify evidence and claiming that she has an upcoming, court case against such and such, and that her uncle is telling her to tell people to do such and such a thing. But I feel like if I did that, she'd just have more to add to her whole martyrdom case that she's trying to make here. Oh, and apparently, the alleged perpetrator is someone she's known since elementary school. Like, I moved a lot during school, but I can't recall anyone from elementary school that I hate enough to stab them and, continuously send the cops to their house and stuff like that. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, there are definitely people that I really intensely dislike, and if, well, would I really want to be on the hook for assault with a deadly weapon again? That is the question. There's a lot more at risk now that I have a family of my own, so I guess the answer is no to that? Maybe? Probably. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on any of that. But putting that much effort into intimidating someone, I'm sure it happens. It just doesn't, the way that she's presenting it doesn't sound realistic to me. And the way that she's going about trying to solve it doesn't seem realistic to me. And now, normally I would call out people by name and make an example of them. However, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what this person wants, so I'm going to leave it vague. And those of you who know, those of you who have also been approached by this person, probably also know who I'm talking about. But on a side note, and to, of course, make this all about me, because, again, I am the face of Crazy Loser in a Box, and it's my job to make everything about myself. I have to wonder what it is about me that makes people feel like it's appropriate to ask me to falsify evidence or ask me to take out a loan for them, which I touch on in another project I'm working on under a different name. So I have to wonder, like, why do people approach me for these just not lawful things, I guess. Or, I mean, taking out a loan for somebody else or co-signing for somebody else isn't illegal, but again, the way that that person went about it was super, super shady. Although she's already been called out for it, so, you know, I'm not dwelling on that. That's beside the point. I'm just saying, like, why was I the one approached? Like, in this case, did she already approach all of her friends to go falsify evidence for her, and they all were like, nah, man, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And then she came to me as a last resort because we talked for like 5 minutes in the past 6 years. I don't know. You tell me. Of course, it's not even really the point. Like, no matter what her reasoning, what her motive is, it is inappropriate behavior, whatever. I just have to wonder, like, am I giving out some kind of vibe? Although, you know, again, maybe she just wanted to be famous and knows that I talk about people and do things like this, but I'm not that famous, so it's, again, not really all that well thought out, so... Anyway, I thought that my channel was getting a little empty and, you know, boring. I haven't uploaded anything for the show for a while. I have been working on music, but I've been uploading it to SoundCloud and not YouTube for a while because I'm too lazy to just, like, slap a title card on it and upload it, you know, whatever. But at least I'm relatable, right? Anyway, if you want to subscribe for sporadic content, go ahead and do that. If you want to not do that, then don't. I don't know, I'm not the boss of you. I guess I could put my SoundCloud and stuff like that in the description. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I think I'll do that. Okay, cheers, everybody. Thank you for watching this, rambling, awkward video. And I will, I'll talk to you again eventually. How about that?